Hi, my name's Arlene, and I'm going to show you how to make fancy soaps with melt and pour base. Now, if you're like me, you go to the store and you see those beautiful homemade soaps and you think, oh goodness, I could never do that because it uses the cold process with lye and it's a bit intimidating. Well, I'm going to show you how you can make just as beautiful soaps with what's called melt and pour base. And today we're going to use goat's milk melt and pour base, soap base. It comes in many types, comes in shea butter melt and pour base, and just all kinds of different kinds. But we're going to be using the goat's milk and then the all-natural clear today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out the goat's milk. And it's a 2-pound block. Most melt and pour base comes in 2-pound blocks. We're only going to use 3/4 of it today, so I'm going to just cut that up. Just cut off that extra quarter and put it back in the container. And then I'm going to take this and cut it into smaller pieces, because what I'm going to do is pop it into the microwave for a minute and a half to melt it so that I can add my essential oil or scent. Pop that into my Pyrex measuring cup. The smaller the pieces, the quicker it will melt. Now the melt and pour base, you can generally find it, a lot of craft stores have it, some of your hardware stores might have it. Just ask, it's not that expensive, but check at your craft stores first. But you might have to make some phone calls around town to find it. All right, so it's all cut up. I'm going to pop it in the microwave. I'm going to start at a minute and then check it, and then if it's not quite melted, I'll do 30 seconds at a time after that. All right, so this melted was in the microwave for about 2 minutes total. Now, the time in the microwave is going to change depending on your microwave, but this took about 2 minutes for it to melt, so it's all liquid now. It's no longer in those chunks. So now's the time to add the wonderful essential oils that you're going to add to make that wonderful scent. So today I'm going to do a blend that is called Sea Mist, and it includes bergamot, which is sort of citrusy, peppermint, and then some mandarin orange. And mandarin orange, gives it a sweetness. So, all right, so we're going to do 2 parts bergamot to 1 part peppermint, 1 part mandarin orange. So we'll do about 20 drops of bergamot. And 10 drops of peppermint. It'll come out. Probably more than 10. And then we're going to do 10 drops of mandarin orange. Alright, set that over there. And just going to stir that essential oil in. And the nice thing is you can sort of tell how it's going to smell. You can smell it. If you want to add a little more of one or the other, just to, tailor it to your own taste, you can do that. So that's all mixed in nicely. Now, I'm going to use a silicone mold because I have found those to be the easiest for getting soap out of. You can buy plastic molds, but you have to grease them first. So I like the silicone. This one I bought specifically for soap making, but they do make baking pans that are made out of silicone that work just as well. So that's another option. But this one was made specifically for soap making. So we're just going to pour that into the mold. pull down. I can smell all that wonderful bergamot. All right, so what I'm gonna do, because I wanna make a fancy soap, I'm gonna let this sit for a while until it's almost solid, and then I'll come back and we'll do our next step. All right, so it's been like maybe 3 hours or so, and the soap has hardened and it's nice and smooth, but we're not gonna leave it that way. We're gonna mess it up. That's how we're gonna get the really cool effect. So I'm just gonna take my spoon and I'm just gonna scrape and dig in the top of this, and just to get it all messed up, maybe take my fingers and push it around. See how it takes a little bit of elbow grease, I guess you could say, or a little bit of power to do this. So we're just going to get it nice and messy. See, I've messed it all up. That nice smooth surface is not nice and smooth anymore. So now we're going to take the clear. We're just going to pop it out. This again is a 2-pound block, and we're going to use about 3/4 of it. Let's cut that up. And again, we're just going to cut it up into smaller pieces so that it'll melt easily. Dish. Now when you melt this in the microwave, you're definitely going to want a glass, or you can't really use plastic to melt this. You want a glass container. Just as before, we're going to pop this in the microwave for about 1 minute to 2 minutes, depending on how long it takes to melt, and we'll just melt it and then we'll add our essential oil. Okay, so it took about 2 minutes again to melt the soap, the amount of soap we had, so it's nice, it's liquid, it's all melted. So we're going to go back to those essential oils. And we're going to do the same essential oils so that way the scent goes through the whole bar of soap. So we're going to do about 20 drops of bergamot. Alright, oh, I can smell that already. It smells wonderful. 10 drops of peppermint. This was the one I had trouble with. About 10 drops of mandarin orange. We'll stir that in. I can smell it. It smells wonderful. Now to the clear, what we're going to do is we're going to add some soap coloring. Now you want to buy soap coloring. You don't want to use food coloring because food coloring will stain your tub and soap coloring will not do that. And I want to go for a nice seafoam green kind of color, so I'm going to put maybe 10 drops of blue in. Just a couple drops of yellow, and we'll see how our color is, and we can always add more to adjust. Put 3. Oh, I got 4 drops. And as you can see, I got it on my finger, but that'll just wash right off. So give it a stir and kind of look at your color. And you can see it's kind of a seafoam green color. I think I'm going to add a little bit more blue to it. Get it a little bluer. There we go. Alright, so now what I'm going to do now, once I get all that mixed in, pour that over top of the white soap that I had messed up. So let's go ahead, let me take this out so I don't make a mess. I'm just going to pour that over top. So now we just let this sit and wait until the clear now gets hard, and then we'll be able to unmold it and slice it. So we will probably do that tomorrow. So our soap has sat overnight, so it's nice and solid. Now yours, you may not need to let it set overnight, but ours sat overnight. So now we're going to get to unmold this wonderful creation. So we're going to pull the silicone mold out of the box. And then we're going to work at getting that big block. It's one big huge block of soap out. Alright, so since you can't take a bath with a bar that big, we're going to cut it into 12 equal slices. And I'm going to use my soap slicer. You can use a knife to cut it, but this makes it really easy to cut. So we're just going to slice it. See what kind of beautiful wave-shaped bars or designs we've made. And they smell so wonderful. This is what our soap looks like, and there's just lots of little swirls, and I just think they're very beautiful. So you can make gorgeous soap with melt and pour base, and if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you.